Keith, I did not fund Hamlin and trade any FASFA for Altavis Fardosa, any child from MCTC, like that young man I thought was in my class. What was his name? Oliandu or something? He was Nigerian. I'm not quite sure what his presentation was on. But I thought I seen him online with a Caucasian woman who had adopted him from another country, and then now I got to meet him, and that's nice, but I'm not funding his education in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not playing that game with Altavis. I told Altavis that she did not have access to my bank account. She did not have access to say I needed any supports and services, where her and this supposed Mike Betts wasn't sitting down communicating what they thought I needed and then handing it to me. The shit that she handed me today is an embarrassment to anyone except for the Department of Human Services under Andrea Faulkner, where her ghetto-ass hired program is running what I considered, Bobby's Village, where, again, if that young man was being assaulted by a man in the group where he thought he needed to tell another woman's grown-ass son what to do, that's a problem, because every time he drug his feet across the floor, he was provoking people, and I thought you could put on socks and take them goddamn shoes off, and you won't be aggravating or bothering people. Whether or not your people said you needed to put something on your feet, they got these little socks with grips on the bottom, and we call that, house shoes, where you can put those on and you're not aggravating people on purpose. Nor should you be telling a grown-ass woman what to do about her son, because her son was fucking grown. I thought he was over 18. I thought he was over 21. And I really didn't think that, Trish and Alex had no say with Altavis, who, again, might be under Fardosa, where they're abusing Taj and his mother. I said, I'm not playing these games with Andrea Faulkner, Tiffany Mears from the Department of Human Services, through ILHAN OMAR, and that's how she's funding people to go to Hamlin, people to get free rent, housing, and cars. They seem to think they're taunting me. So I did not give up any FASFA. My FASFA should have been deposited. These should be real classes where I filed for, real funding for school. And I thought, if I'm not mistaken, I could have took 3 classes and I dropped the math one, because I didn't want to be bothered with the online, where it was on the reservation, where the teacher thought she had immunity from abusing me because she's on a reservation and not on Minneapolis, city ground, which, is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I thought that I was not going to play the game with her. I thought they wanted me to drop the ceramics and keep the math and the English class and those 2 teachers who might be on reservations with Jackie Baker, Amy Klobuchar, who this morning tried to scare me, right, Al Franken? She tried to scare me, have that man run up on me. I thought, again, maybe she did kill Paul Wellstone. Maybe, again, she did kill Shayla Cooper. Maybe, again, she's telling me to stop slashing her name because her and Betsy Hodges stole money, don't want to account for it, and they don't want to pay for it. They don't want to give it back. So as I talk about my money that might be funding that person that ran up on me this morning, as I talk about you might be trying to steal my FASFA because it should have been deposited Monday. Monday. It should have been there Monday. Right? But no, you want to play these games. You want to have people intimidate, provoke me. You want to have people run up on me. You want to have people over the weekend where you seem to think that nothing's going to happen to them, right? Well, I seem to think otherwise. I like calling 911. Like when I call 911 on Metro Transit, right? And I told them that some little girl from the juvenile diversion program under Kim Ellison was bothering me. And I would press criminal charges if they wanted to keep playing that game with ILHAN OMAR and Kim Ellison. That's what I said. I'm not in the mood, right? That's what I clearly said. I'm not your slave. You're not taking my money. You're not giving it to these kids. Their parents. We're not doing that, correct? Now let's have a great weekend. It should be there in the morning now, right, Kim? Altavis, Fardosa, ILHAN, Abdi, Nancy Horan, Carol Kubik, all these wonderful people, Al Franken. Who's running for some seats this 2024? Who's running for some motherfucking seats this 2024? Is it any judicial officials, whether they're district, federal, supreme? Is there any senators, congressmen? Is there any governors? Any teachers' unions? I haven't voted in a while, And like I said, I wasn't really focused on the order of what I voted, but I did try and pay attention to the judicial officials part, because some of them didn't even have challengers, which meant they remained in their seats because nobody was fucking challenging them. I could just go and fucking challenge them, right? Maybe they got enough census count in their area where we need to do an audit of their record to see if there's a bias in that fucking area, which I don't really want to do because, I think I'm an attorney, and sometimes I do class act. That means, I get in other people's business because they're in my motherfucking business, right? Especially when they're in my motherfucking pocket. Don't be in my pocket because I don't like to be in your motherfucking pocket. Shoot, even Michael Cooper. I was with Michael Cooper for 20. I love Michael Cooper Sr. I never went in that man's pocket to count his money, except for when we were selling dope together, and I gave him $180 to go buy that 8-ball, and he turned that 8-ball into, $350, and then now I got